Welcome to a very special fourth dram and goal. We're going to drink some hot and spicy today. So pour a heater, sit back, and relax.
Let's do this. Okay, so just to give a little background about today's episode, Kurt and I are actually in person for the first time recording. So this is a big milestone for us.
Socially distancing at 6 feet. Thank you very much.
18 inches, but sure.
I had to stand back a little further. We got a good one today, don't we, Dick? We had to pull out the big guns.
We had to pull out the big guns. So we've got a 3 bourbon blind, all very proofy, most of them barrel proof. Hot, so hot. And we're going to talk a little bit about college football, what's going on there, talk about pro football. Hopefully keep this segment to not an hour and a half. But we're going to go and just start shooting the shit.
Yep. Going to have to talk about that Mike Tyson and Nate Robinson getting knocked out dirty. Okay, so I'll get us started here. Before we get into our college football, we're doing a special What's in Our Glass tonight. Once again, we don't know specifically. We have an idea because we have 3 wonderful bottles, and I'll let Dick go ahead and introduce them.
Yeah, so bottle number 1, of course, we don't know the order that we're actually blinding in, but bottle number 1 in front of us is Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. This is batch B520, coming in at 127.2 proof. Next up, we have Old Forrester 150. So we talked about one of our previous episodes, actually getting our hands on a bottle of this. Thanks to Black Friday, I was lucky enough to do so. That's going to come in at 126.4 proof. And then we've got I'm going to call this kind of a black horse or a dark horse in the race. It's actually 1792 full proof. It's actually a Specs single barrel select, so a store pick, as Kurt lovingly talks about. And that comes in at an even 125 proof. So we're probably going to get pretty schwasty this afternoon and really just enjoy the ride.
Yep. And I have only had one of these. I have had the Elijah Craig Barrel Proof, and if anybody has heard our episode before, all 10 of you, you'll know that was probably my first big boy purchase, was when I bought Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. Started, of course, with the Buffalo Traces and the Maker's Marks and so forth, but that was my first go-get special purchase, and it was so good, and that started the trend for me. Of course, when I started off going back and forth between scotches and bourbons, that was the one that said, okay, scotch, get out of the way. So I'm excited. I'm going to want to say, did you just smell all of them?
I'm smelling one right now.
You son of a bitch.
They're all kind of similar. One stands out more. I thought I knew what one was off the top of my head.
These are good. Heat.
That's nice.
Oh, yeah. There's one that I definitely can tell you right away. That's not Elijah Craig. The other two, it's going to be close.
All right, so let's start with one. What do you got on the nose?
The classics. The heat.
You like cinnamon, obviously.
Slight vanilla back there.
Yeah, I can see that.
Getting a little bit of raisins. Ooh. That's a good nose. Which you knew you were going to get none of these were going to be like, ooh.
Not more going to be a shitty nose.
Whoa.
So first sip.
Whoa.
Spicy.
Yeah. That is warm.
Yeah, so I get vanilla. I get cinnamon.
You gotta let it mellow before you get those flavors because it comes on hot.
Yeah, it's all in the aftertaste.
And I know I hate doing the predicting, but I can tell you right now, this is not
This is
Elijah
not
Craig. Well, I haven't had the other two.
I'm pretty sure I know what this is. So I've had all 3 of these.
We'll take the fun away, why don't you?
So let's talk about the good stuff here. So the good stuff.
It drops. Like roller coaster drops.
Yeah.
It hits very hot and then
mellows out really quick.
Lots of vanilla. Butter? That butter feeling.
Buttercream.
Yeah.
Very viscous. See, and this is where I kind of sit in a lot of these. It's hard to go back to some of the other whiskeys that we've drank in the past, because once you've had these and you really start to appreciate them, it's hard to go and retroactively appreciate some of the lighter stuff. Before we even started recording today, I had Kurt here. I don't know what you tried. I can't remember what you tried, but you tried more of a Proofy one. And then you went back and tried, I think it was the Evan Williams single barrel. It's a much lower proof.
Yes. Oh, well, it was only 98 proof, but the Sam Houston.
Sam Houston. Yeah, there you go.
That's a whole other conversation.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but I was let down. Anyway.
He's glad I spent $100 in that bottle.
That's good. That was good. This is good. Are you making your prediction?
Yeah. I'm going to let you go first, so.
Okay, so I know it's not the Elijah Craig. I'm looking at the proofs of the other one, and this one is hot. And the Old Forrester 150 is at 126.4, and the full proof 1792 is at 125, so they're going to be close.
Yeah.
I'm hoping, because what was the price point on the 1792?
If I remember right, it was 40 to 50.
Okay. I'm hoping that for the price of the 150, that it has a smoother bite for that proof.
Yes.
I'm hoping it mellows out quite a bit more. So I'm gonna go 1792.
I have the same one.
Specs pick for that one.
Yeah, full proof. Black ring label. I really like this bottle. This is one that I've had like two 1792 products in the past. I've had Bottled and Bond, and I think I've just had the regular 1792.
Yeah, that
barrel.
That raisins comes out on the taste when it mellows out.
Yeah.
All right, so we gotta talk about it, man. Your chair is sitting a little bit higher today. You got a little smirk on your face, and I know it's not just because you haven't seen me in a while. It was some atrocious football last night.
It was atrocious offense.
But they got the W.
They got the W.
It's getting closer, man.
It's within grasp. I mean, they were talking about it last night. You know, A&M, do they actually have a shot? What is it going to take in order for the college football committee to actually
It's going to take the biggest technicality that we've never heard of before.
Alabama has to win out, man.
Alabama has to win out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I'm pretty sure that Clemson has to beat Notre Dame, and I'm not even sure at that point if Notre Dame falls out of the top four. But they have to whoop Notre Dame's ass. Like, embarrass them.
And then you have to count on the fact that Ohio State won't be eligible for their own championship game.
In that situation, you can actually play it out. If Alabama wins out, it makes a big enough fool of Florida. And Clemson can beat Notre Dame. A&M's got a shot. We can't give Florida a chance. If Florida beats Alabama, we're fucked.
Yeah. So you think Florida would end up hopping?
Yeah, I think so.
That sucks so bad.
It would.
But it was bad football. 20-something punts.
20-some-odd punts. Final score 20-7, and that last 7 by LSU was trash points.
So let me ask you this: You think Ogeron, untouchable, but do you think it's possible? Like, it's so bad, and then you even got those allegations in the background, which I'm not going to pretend like I've read about, but I've heard. You think it's a possible, like, Gene Chizik situation where he was at the top of the world, even very similar seasons with Cam Newton win national championship, and then it's just a whoosh. You think that's possible with old Ed?
I mean, anything's possible, right? We can't sit here and say it's not possible. I mean, we'll talk about some of the other coaching changes that have happened. But I think with Ed O, you just won a national championship. I don't think he's on the hot seat. I don't even think with the allegations coming through.
I know it was during the guys because the funny thing is I Googled what the heck happened to LSU's starting quarterback at the beginning of the year. And it's just so coincidental that I think the accuser has the same last name as him, so that took me to one of those articles, and that's literally the only thing I have. But I was like, what happened to Miles Brennan? He hasn't played since early October with an injury. I don't know. Anyway, you start seeing them interchange these quarterbacks yesterday, such as Brad Johnson's son.
Max Johnson.
And I was like, whoa, Ogeron ripped.
Smith. Who was number 11? Finley. There you go. I'm sorry.
Ripped him for that pick six.
Oh, he ripped his ass. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was funny. Me and my boy, C-Jax, we were talking earlier this year about how Buddy Johnson, the linebacker who made that interception, that pick six, was trash. Like, C-Jax kept saying the same thing over and over. He sucks. He sucks. I'm like, no, he's actually pretty good. And as soon as that happened, I texted him. I was like, I
don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it.
I fell into his lap.
I've heard a couple other A&M fans that all of a sudden they're using the we. I haven't heard that in a while.
I say we all the time.
I'll give it to you. You do, but there's some fans out there that are starting. Oh man, we're doing awesome. Oh, we have a chance. Bandwagons. So, what else did you see yesterday? Anything big?
I was really hoping the North Carolina would beat Notre Dame.
It was good. It was good the first 3 quarters.
It was a lot closer game than it ended up being. I think it was 31-17 final score. And then the other one that kind of threw me off was Ohio State's game getting canceled.
Mm-hmm.
Did we see that coming?
I mean, it's college football this year. It's become and the NFL was doing a decent job. Decent job. Not anymore. Shit's hitting the fan.
You want to talk about that right
now? Not now. We'll get into that later. You're not going to just... I mean, we got a possible coach playing quarterback. I mean, that's something to talk about when we get into pro football. But the Big East... The Big Ten, they delayed it so long. There's no room for leeway.
There's no room for wiggle, yeah.
Like, they come up with this rule that you have to play, 6 conference games? And if you don't, you're not even eligible. So it's going to be...
Well, now you got, Pac-12. They're scheduling games against, Mountain West and, Big East. Not Big East, fuck. Mountain West and MAC Nation games just to get games on the schedule.
Yeah. It's a mess, man. It's turning into a mess.
I just think it goes back to, we look at Ohio State. Let's just talk about the fact that, let's say they get the 6 games. We talked about this very early on about this bullshit that they're ranked as high as they are, 1-0, right? We had a whole segment on that. I went off. But you're also going to look at their, track record. Justin Fields isn't playing that great. He had 3 picks against Illinois. Or, I'm sorry, he had 3 picks against Indiana. And that was their one big game. Yeah, that was their one big game of the year.
Yeah.
And, I mean, let's be honest. Indiana, I think they're the better team. And I know they lost to Ohio State.
They're not. Because it goes back to what we said a couple weeks ago. I was like, you were like, it's going to be exciting. And I was like, whoop-de-doo, Ohio State wins by 21. And it was looking that way. I think they play again. I don't think Indiana wins.
I think Ohio State has more raw talent. They're Ohio State. They're always going to have the upper hand. But I think if you look more of a complete team, I think Indiana's more of a complete team.
Agree to disagree.
Okay, fair enough.
Texas drops the ball again.
Are we surprised?
This is going to go into another rant, and I hate the fact that we always talk about coaches, but it happens. Yeah, it goes back. They're going to Tom Herman. If you don't get Urban Meyer, is it a miss?
Yeah, 100%.
Because it's Urban or
no,
who?
It's Urban or bust.
Right.
Because I don't know that there's another coach out there with that kind of caliber, and we've talked about this.
Yes.
It's really, really hard to breed winning coaches.
And
it's much easier to buy.
And I think as an A&M fan, you've got to be bragging even more right now, because think of the big-name coaches that were hired recently. Think of the big names. Frost, Herman, Jimbo, Harbaugh, which was going on 6 years now. I didn't even realize that. Other than Jimbo, who looks like he's hit his stride this year, who's been successful that was supposed to be? Frost is almost out the door like Harbaugh. Alma mater, done.
Yeah.
Wasn't the savior, obviously.
They also haven't given much of a chance, but yeah, I'm with you.
You've got to feel lucky.
I do. I think the only other option you have if you don't get Urban is go get Bo Pelini.
I'm not even going to conversate with that.
Honestly, though, all jokes aside, I think you've got a few options. If you don't get Urban Meyer, you can go pull a...
pro guy?
Huh?
A pro guy?
No. Well, you do have those options, but there's not many options out there unless you want to go pull Kingsbury back and pay him, assloads of money. But he's actually doing okay.
Not even fathomable.
We've said crazier things in the past, right? If people didn't think Saban would come back, he came back. So you can either go get a Les Miles, right? Which he's proven, batshit crazy, but proven. Or you can go get a Hugh Freeze
as UT. No, we've talked about this. Hugh Freeze's going to get that middle of the road big conference job.
Did you think Tom Herman was going to get the UT job?
Yes. He was the hottest name out there for what he was doing at Houston.
It was Houston. I mean,
he beat Oklahoma.
Yeah.
He won, the Sugar Bowl.
Yeah.
I mean, he was the name. That's what I'm saying. These guys have been
Did you think
missing.
Charlie Strong was going to get that job?
At UT? Yes. These are not surprises.
But see, they are to me.
You're living in your little College Station bubble. Get
I don't think
out of it.
No, I'm saying when they had conversations about, okay, we're going to go get Nick Saban. We're going to poach him from Alabama years ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to pay him this massive contract. Didn't pan out. But that's who they're trying to target. I mean, you're UT. You have your own fucking network. Like, you have fans to put in the stands. You have dollars and millions of dollars.
That'll make you hollers. No? Not what you're going to?
Yeah.
All right. I don't want to stay on the coaching conversation for too
Bands
long.
will make you dance.
Oh, God. Back to the field. Coastal Carolina State undefeated. Do we care? Probably.
Yeah, they beat Texas State, though.
Yeah. Moving on. I saw another field with a different color.
Which one?
The gray field of whoever wished the gray field of Western Michigan. Western Michigan was playing them. Eastern Michigan, gray and green field. So your whole, it has to be a shade of blue.
Shade of green.
Bullshit.
Shade of green. How old is that field?
I don't know. Do I care?
Exactly.
No. So Michigan lost. Penn State first win of the year. Harbaugh magically has not been fired yet.
Mm-hmm.
What else? Iowa State beat Texas. We talked about that. Texas Tech, of course. Shootout with Oklahoma State, of course.
Lost.
The difference is they botched. We went for an onside kick. They returned it to the house.
I always thought there was a rule about returning outside kicks, but
If you are the kicking team, you cannot advance it.
fair enough.
As we dive into number 2, raspberries. Raspberries. The schnozberries. Tastes like schnozberries. Fruit.
Oh, I know what this is.
I do too. But if I'm wrong, if I go back off the smell of the third one.
It's berry, yeah. It's very berry.
Oh, now I'm screwed. No, I'm going to say this is Elijah Craig.
It's not.
Oh, when the last time this happened? Who won that one? When we tangoed last. That is Elijah Craig. It has that little sweetness.
So I'm not gonna lie, I jumped to 3.
You bastard.
They're both berry,
Well,
but one's stronger than the other.
now you're just putting an asterisk on this competition because I'm not going to jump to 3. I'm going to say that that's Elijah Craig because there is a hint.
I'm gonna say it's 150.
Oak. Chocolate bomb. Well, you know what, dude? I'm going to go to 3-2. And I'm on the nose, unless you did not clean this glass properly. Maybe this was the one that I grabbed and I didn't clean it.
Possibly.
No, that's not Elijah Craig. 2's Elijah Craig.
You think?
Yes. That chocolate, vanilla, caramel bomb.
See, I think
A
they
little
taste
bit
a lot
of
alike.
chocolate wafers.
I think they taste a lot alike.
And if I'm looking at this... All right, let's not get ahead of here. I'm going to say 2's Elijah Craig. Barrel proof. 1 and 3, I can have completely wrong because I've not tasted them.
I think 2's Old Forrester, 150.
And you're going to have... You've had it. You've
I know.
had both.
No, but now I'm confused. I'm second guessing myself.
Okay. So let's keep going. So is the college football landscape going forward? Who's in the playoffs right now? Who do you have taking it all?
I think I have Clemson taking it all again.
Really?
Yeah. I think as much as I want to sit here and be a homer and say, oh, no, A&M has a shot, we don't. As soon as we get matched up with one of those 3 teams, we're fucked.
Right.
We can't beat Alabama. And if we can't beat Alabama, I'm not sure that we could beat Clemson. Now, I will say from some crazy-ass situation where we got pinned up against Notre Dame, I think we have a shot against Notre Dame.
I think anybody has a shot at Notre Dame. I mean, we've talked about this. looked weird against Pittsburgh and North Carolina this year.
They look weird in general.
They looked like they can compete with a Trevor Lawrence-less Clemson. I don't think anybody's beating Alabama this year.
I think Clemson can.
I don't think so.
I think Clemson.
I don't think so.
I think Mac Jones has a lot of the classic Alabama quarterback.
Yeah, as in I just got to be good, and he
doesn't have to be great.
He's great right now. He's the Heisman frontrunner.
I disagree on that.
Okay, who's the Heisman frontrunner?
Everybody says Kyle Trask is, which I don't.
Everybody says Kyle Trask.
Yeah.
Everybody says Kyle Trask.
All the ESPN guys.
So what happens when Alabama beats Florida?
Well, I mean, it depends on how he plays.
Nope. What happens when Alabama?
If Alabama runs for 300 yards and beats Florida, and Kyle Trask throws for 400 yards and 3 touchdowns, and Mac Jones throws for 1 or some shit like that, I mean, the Heisman is not a. It's an MVP, most valuable player, not who won the most games or who won head-to-heads.
When's the last time a losing quarterback won the Heisman Trophy?
Johnny Manziel.
Losing.
Oh, a losing
record.
Oh, well, Florida's not going to have a losing record.
But I'm just saying.
It's not the best player on the best team. It's the best player on the national team.
So, maybe I got a little ahead of myself. Mac Jones' stats do not compare to Kyle Trask, but
I don't think Kyle Trask's that good either. That's the problem.
But I think if they go head-to-head and Alabama steamrolls them, I think he's got a chance.
Yeah.
So we'll see. But I don't think anybody's beating Alabama this year.
No, I think other than Clemson, I don't think there's another team that can. And the only reason I say Clemson is because Dabo seems to have Saban's number.
That's good. Before we transition to pro football, did you happen to see any of those fights last night?
I did not.
Nate Robinson
got knocked out.
Got
fuck out.
Rocked. Like, they had to do one of my nicks.
By who?
Like that. I don't know. Some guy on YouTube.
Jake Paul.
I couldn't tell you who he is.
I can.
You can?
Yeah.
We're
not going to get into that. It's going to get political.
Yeah, he got rocked. And then I didn't pay for the Tyson fight, but I'm not going to lie. Maybe some people were streaming it on Facebook. And
no, that doesn't happen.
He looked good. I mean,
still got it.
Everyone was asking, would you step in the ring with him?
No.
How much?
So to step in the ring with Iron Mike?
Sure.
I mean, it'd have to pay for my retirement, my kids' college, and all my medical bills. I don't know, $20 million.
$20 million?
Yeah.
Dude, I was saying 500,000.
No, dude, fuck that.
I mean, run around. That's
that's
the old argument. Like, can I just run around for?
No, you've got to get hit a couple times in the face.
Shit.
He's got to knock you out.
Oh, one punch or how many?
How many takes to knock you out? You better hope you go down to one.
Not even. He's gonna rear back. I'm done. Okay, so then that goes. How much would it be for just one open face shot?
By Mike Tyson?
Yes.
$20 million.
God dang.
I mean, I've got to take into account, I've got to make sure that my family's taken care of if I'm a vegetable for the rest of my life, and I have to be taken care of.
Okay. Yeah, I guess when you put it that way, I guess $1 million for a shot from Mike Tyson isn't worth it.
Fuck that.
Five, Mike.
$20 million, dude.
$5 million. Just come.
You got inflation.
Oh, but am I going straight on the nose or forehead? I feel like that's a different.
I feel like it's got to be right between the eyes.
Oh no, that's reconstructive surgery for me. Okay, we won't talk too much about that. Mike Tyson looks good. Not a surprise. I mean, the guy lost 100 pounds. Looks awesome. Yeah, I saw the fight last night. He was pretty good. Roy Jones was huffing and buffing afterwards. Yeah. I did see that in the post interview. All right. Hit the ground running. Pro football. We've got a couple games on right now. We've got the Cleveland versus Jacksonville game on for some reason.
It's NFL Red Zone.
5 minutes left in that game.
And they just switched over to the Colts and Titans game, which the Titans are running away with this one. Colts defense are supposed to be the number one in fantasy football this week, and they are fucking me big time.
Nice. I don't see any big upsets in the Titans. Beating the Colts is not an upset to me.
No, not at all. Titans are good. They're
Bills
really good.
over the Chargers.
That should happen
Giants
all day.
over the Bengals.
That's a little bit surprising. Well, without Joe Burrow, I mean, let's talk about him.
Okay, we can transition to that.
The way I understand it, he's down with an ACL and MCL and other internal knee injury.
Yeah. I mean,
what does it say for the rest of his career?
It says...
Is he the savior the Bengals needed?
It's hard, man, because it's those teams that it's like Matt Stafford. He's going to be a, diamond in the rough. They're going to maybe make the playoffs, and that's going to be high expectations for them. I mean, they're kind of accustomed to mediocrity. They had Marvin Lewis, no shots towards the guy, but he was mediocre for a long time, and they just kind of went with it. I hope he's back next year. I heard old Booger make a statement like, "Oh, if it's even close, just sit out the year." And you're like, "Yeah, just take a whole year off your career. No worries."
Still gets paid.
Yeah, but I don't know. I hope he bounces back. Of course, he was exciting to watch his first couple weeks of the season, but it's hard to fathom Cincinnati being a team that puts together well enough to win a Super Bowl.
I agree with that. Now, there's a flip side saying right before Tom Brady came on, people say the same thing about the Patriots. There are turning points in dynasties. Turning points in franchises. I won't call it dynasty. And you really wonder, is Burrow it? Was he it? Does he bounce back from this knee injury? We've seen other guys do it and come back, dude, great.
Yeah.
I mean, Tom. Look at Tom.
Yeah.
He came back from that gruesome. I mean, Tom Brady has two Brady rules. The tuck rule, and you can't hit a quarterback below the knees.
Yeah.
And the dude is a GOAT.
And
so it's possible.
They did talk about that. And, yeah, I hope it's just one of those things that 5-6 years down the road, you're like, oh, yeah, Joe Burrow did have that bad knee injury. Yeah. So, I don't know. I don't see them being anything more than your typical Cincinnati with Palmer and Andy Dalton.
Red Rocket.
They're always going to have to compete with the Steelers. They're always going to have to compete with the Ravens. So, I don't know. I wish them the best, but it is what it is. Thanksgiving, Texans showed up against the Lions. It's depressing to watch because you could see how good their offense can be, but then you have to reel yourself back into, it was the Lions. As you're drinking 3?
2. Salt Forrester. I'm telling you. It's too berry-y. Of course, the Cowboys attempted to show up, but forgot how to play football.
Ooh, big whiff of vanilla on number 2. I'm sticking with Elijah Craig until I taste 3. Until 3 tells me otherwise.
Okay, fair enough. But we're in agreement. The first one's 1792.
Yes. Well, that was on a whim. That was on a hoping that the cheaper, higher proof is going to taste like a cheaper, higher proof.
I still like it, though.
Didn't say it was bad. So the Cowboys are bad.
Cowboys are bad.
Which we knew that.
But it's not just the Cowboys quarterback situation. Like, Zeke is bad.
Defense has been bad, but...
Defense has it's really hard. Defense has shining moments of good. Mm-hmm. But it's really hard to be a good defense when your offense keeps going 3 and out, and you're just gassed by the second quarter.
Okay.
I mean, I've watched A&M play for long enough to see this time and time and time again. Yeah, it's great when we score 10 touchdowns a game, but if we keep scoring 10 touchdowns in 30, 45-second drives, your defense never gets a chance to breathe. And when you're chasing dudes around all day and trying to get in front of them, it's a lot harder to play defense than it is offense. It's a guessing game.
Is it bad enough to where McCarthy doesn't come back next year?
I don't know. I think we talked about this before, and they're going to chalk it up to COVID. They're going to chalk it up to Dak going down. There's going to be excuses on excuses. I mean, Jerry Jones is nothing but an excuse man. And if he likes someone, he will find every excuse to keep them on the team and sign every criminal he possibly can.
Whoa.
Tell me I'm wrong.
You're wrong.
How am I wrong?
Just to save my ass.
Pac-Man Jones.
Yeah, I don't want this show, which can now be called Coach's Hot Seat, basically, but somebody got fired. Somebody that we said was on the old granddad hot seat.
We did. Matt Patricia.
I don't know if it was old granddad. I think he was old granddad.
He was something like that, yeah. And the GM.
Surprised or not surprised?
I don't think we're surprised. We called it.
Yeah,
It was coming. I mean,
we've called a lot of things lately.
we have. I'll give some credit.
We were talking about retro uniforms, and the Spurs dropped these sweet new looks.
I love those uniforms.
We talked Matt Patricia. We talked Harbaugh's yet to
be fired.
Yet to be fired. We talked the possible Cowboy replacements that were in a couple of articles. So we know our shit, man.
Yeah, totally.
As we dive into number 3.
Let's do it. I think where we could go as we drink number 3 is really talking about the Belichick disciples.
Yes, I had a text conversation, and I said, "Who's the Belichick disciple that's been good, besides the opportunity for Brian Flores down in Miami to be good?" And they hit me with a curveball that I was like, "Fuck you, dude, that doesn't count." They hit me with Nick Saban. Nick Saban, Belichick's.
He's not a Patriots disciple, though.
Coordinator while he was in Cleveland. And I said, does not count.
Doesn't count.
Because if you're going to stick to the trend, he did try the NFL. Guess what?
Didn't work.
Thus, dynasty at Alabama.
Wasn't that right after... Who was the Miami head coach that got fired, Nick Saban got replaced with? He had the mustache... What's his name? He did like Fox NFL Sunday for a few years after. You know what I'm talking about?
No, he was after Jimmy Johnson.
Yeah, but he was before Saban.
Wanstead.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Could be wrong.
Jeff?
Something.
Wanstead, yeah.
I know. Yeah. So Nick Saban does not count.
Nick Saban does not count. I agree.
But other than that, Patricia swing and a miss. Old boy who's their offensive coordinator
McDaniels.
who said, I'm going to be the Colts coach, and then I'm like, I'm not going to be the Colts coach because
that's McDaniels, right?
Right.
Yeah, because he tried to stint at Denver.
Swing and a miss. Mm-hmm. Bill O'Brien, I'd call him a bunt, but he did so much shit towards the end. I'm so mad at. You know what? That's not even a bunt. He struck out. Damn it! Why do I have to go there?
You get a little fifth down.
But not surprised, Patricia. I mean, it was. I don't know. Maybe if he takes a job somewhere else, he ends up. But who can you not say that about?
I don't know. I think he'll go back to the Patriots. Why would he not? Belichick can give him a job.
I don't care.
You know what? I will say one coach that is doing well.
That's not Elijah Craig. You may get this.
Mike Vrabel.
No. Mike Vrabel. Doesn't count.
But he wasn't a coach for him. He was a player.
He was a player. He was a player. Exactly.
Yeah. As we're watching the Tennessee
game. Okay, this has a Texas
funk.
This has a Texas whiskey funk to it.
You think it's OF? It has to be.
It's got to be OF for 1792 because I'm sticking to Craig being 2.
I'm going to say this is Elijah Craig, even though you don't agree.
And I already have my rankings automatically.
Lay him down.
2, 3, 1. Just because 1 comes in so hot. Mm-hmm. And if it is Craig,
I think. Fuck. I'm afraid you're right, but for argument's sake, I'm going to say Old Forrester.
And I'm going to go back.
I'm actually going to go in the same order you are.
Of course you are.
But I'm going to say that Old Forrester is number 2.
Okay.
Which, let's talk about this, though, for a second before we go into
I'm going to go back through them one more
time. Let's talk about Elijah Craig, Barrel Proof. You got batch B520.
Yes.
And we had this conversation. We first tried it earlier this morning. We talked about there is a split amongst the YouTube whiskey reviewers, specifically around whether or not B520 is better than C920. And we've heard a couple say that C920 beats the hell out of this B520. I'm really curious, especially to see where this ends, if we can get our hands on that C920.
That would be awesome because I can't. There's 4 big namers that we watch in the YouTube Whiskey World.
Mash and Drum.
And it literally 2 and 2.
Mm-hmm. So let's just name those out. Mash and Drum, Bourbon Junkies, Whiskey Nights.
ADHD. Bourbon Nights.
Sorry, there you go.
Whiskey ADHD. And it was bourbon. It was Junkies and ADHD that said C920. And it wasn't like, oh, it kind of, The other two, Bourbon Nights was like by a whisker. And then Mash and Drum was, he was just kind of, he wasn't like, oh, it kicked its ass or whisker. He said beat. I don't see where there's room for C to kick the shit out of this one.
I think that's a valid point. Like, where does it get better?
I don't know. Because
it doesn't burn? I mean, like, you got to enjoy that. I mean, unless there's just some overwhelming, like, it tastes like a pure, like, Snickers candy bar, or, like, there's just an overwhelming vanilla, like, punch in the face.
I think that goes back to preference.
It does, completely.
Ooh.
No, I'm mixing them up, dude. It's all over the place for me. I'm 2-3-1. But it's 2 and 3 are right there next to each other. Because I think there's a lot of berry on both. I actually believe that 2 is a lot stronger in the berry department.
Yeah. I'm still sticking. I think 2 is Elijah Craig. And you know what? I'm not going to be disappointed if Elijah Craig and Old Forrester 150, anniversary edition, I'm not going to be upset at myself. Now, if 1792 ends up being number 2, I will be a little kind of upset.
All right. So, let me throw this at you, though. We think that 2 and 3 interchangeably are either Elijah Craig or Old Forrester 150. Let's just say you're right or I'm right. Doesn't really matter. I think we're both agreeing that it's very, very close. Price point difference. MSRP. I'm not playing secondary for these. MSRP on Old Forester 150 is right about 135. Okay. MSRP on Elijah Craig barrel proof is right about 60.
I paid 85.
Okay, fair enough.
Not gonna lie.
Old people are paying Old Forester 150. They're paying $600, $500 is what I've seen it in secondary, or even not even just secondary, private liquor stores gouge prices. So I would say this, regardless of where they land out of this, if we're paying dollar per pour, or let's just say like taste per dollar, whatever you want to say, whatever ratio that comes out to, I think we both agree that Elijah Craig, assuming we're not wrong,
absolutely,
is probably the better buy.
I would pay $100 for it. But I beat myself up for paying $15, $85 for it. Mm-hmm. I was like, damn it. And then I tasted it.
It's worth it.
I said, oh, I'll drop another 15, baby. It's good.
It's good. Yeah, for sure.
It's good.
I'm really curious what the toasted barrel's like.
Oh, the toasted barrel.
Yeah.
That one sounds like it just has all these goodies.
But see, I think that's another one where you talk about, like, toasted barrel. We talked about this the last time. It's hit and miss. Like, I feel like people hate it or love it. But that's most shit, to be honest. But, all right. I think it's time to see what we got.
Let's go for it.
All right. You want me to do the honors?
I want to. You did them last time.
All right. Go for it.
Because I got to see your, oh shit, Kurt's right face.
I never liked that face.
I want to delete this episode.
Because he's wrong.
I want to delete this episode so bad.
Oh my god, I do too. At least you were right about number 3. Holy shit. All right. So number 1, we're idiots, is Elijah Craig.
How did that happen?
Number 2 is 1792. And number 3 is the Old Forester. So I got 0 for 0. 0 for 3. You're 1 for 3.
I'm going to toss this up as we've had a lot of whiskey today. Fuck that.
But let's talk about this, though. We're essentially saying that 1792 barrel proof. Now, it is a single barrel. Or, I'm sorry, yeah, foolproof. 1792 foolproof, what?
No, just can't believe it.
1792 foolproof. Single barrel. It is a store picked. I will give it that caveat. It's damn near what Old Forester 150 is.
Wow. I've got a conspiracy theory here, man. This is getting tossed up to dirty glasses or something.
Or my wife's fucking with us, one or the other.
Maybe. That's crazy.
Take a swig straight from it.
What?
Take a swig straight from it. Make sure we're not crazy.
I don't know. We got a recount on our hands because this is...
We can get Giuliani on this.
This is crazy. That's blowing my mind. Yeah, I had 3-2-1.
I had 2-3-1. I was 0 for 3. I need to get better at this.
I'm gonna have to
check out that 1792 foolproof.
Absolutely. Holy crap. Is this what happens when you go into these things confident and you're just like, nah, this is what it is. But you were 0 for 3 and I was 1 for 3, so streak continues. That's crazy. Wow.
It's 2-0.
So
tasting.
At the end of the day, 3 very good bottles, but the heat, I don't know, man. I don't know why the heat came out on the Elijah Craig so much more this time than when I had it.
Neck pour?
Maybe. The neck pour was so good.
No, that's usually not what it is.
Wow.
I think we could definitely say 1792 punches way above its weight class.
Oh, I was surprised. That was a surprise big time.
Old Forrester is probably right there where we thought it should be.
I don't know. Maybe going straight for the highest proof? I don't know.
I'm probably at a loss too.
You look sad like me.
I'm not that I'm sad. I mean, like, I'm pleasantly surprised because I thought this was a hitter. I thought this foolproof was a hitter.
You did tell me it was very good.
And I mean, we pulled the iron root out of this competition because it was 115.
Well, the iron root was just so different.
Yeah,
it was so different, and you had heard that about it.
Yeah, it was very different.
Yes, so we would have instantly been able to have called that one out, but apparently we can't call shit because I'm still. All right. Well, that was fun. That was fun.
So if we made a recommendation out of all this, Old Forster's good. We knew it was good. 1792 foolproof. I think it's a buy. So you have to pick it up. You see it. Now. And if you see a single barrel store pick it up. All right. So, Kurt, I think that about wraps us up for what we got today or right now. Why don't you go ahead and give us a closeout quote?
All right. Well, why not? This one's going to be like sometimes life just doesn't work out, so you've got to go back to the drawing board. In the famous words, I will commit every ounce of my energy to this football team. That was Matt Patricia when he took the Lions job. Didn't mean he didn't do that.
No, he had some ounces to give.
Just means it didn't work out. So back to the drawing board. It happens. Keep going.
Belichick's calling you home, Bubba.
To the next shocking glass. To the next snap. To the next dram. Drink on.
Drink on, my friends.